Alright, so earlier this week I posted a video showing my ball pythons that I had for sale over on Morphmarket. And believe it or not, since I posted that video, I actually sold 6 snakes, which is pretty amazing. I'm thinking people are getting their tax money back or something buying all these snakes. So what I'm going to do today is I want to replace those snakes with another 6 snakes here from my collection. And over on Morphmarket, I'm limited to a maximum of 15 snakes that I can post at any one time with the current plan that I pay for over on Morphmarket. So what I'm going to do is go through, my hatchlings are kind of dwindling here. I think I only have like 11 hatchlings left that I haven't posted on Morphmarket, and 2 of them are stuck on live only. I just cannot get them over to frozen thawed, so I'm not going to put those on there until I can get them over to frozen thawed. And then the rest of them, I think a lot of these, I haven't actually probed them to figure out the males and the females. As a matter of fact, I haven't actually looked at them in detail to really see the colors and the patterns on some of these snakes, so it'll be kind of interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pulling out snakes, and I think people like to see the videos as far as the snake they're buying versus just kind of looking at the picture over on Morphmarket. It kind of gives you the idea of the attitude of the snake too, if it's going to bite you or if it's going to be really friendly. So I'm just going to jump over and grab some snakes and show them to you, and you can check them out. Alright, so I want to start out with this one. Take a look at this. This guy's name is Peanut. And Peanut, I just weighed him. He's coming in at 197 grams. And Peanut is a Coral Glow 100% het pied. I produced this one from breeding my Coral Glow het pied to a visual pied and produced this one. Pretty awesome. So you know 100% sure that he actually carries 1 copy of the pied gene. It's a male and it's a male maker. So if you bred this to something else, all of the Coral Glow offspring would be males, all but, you know, there's actually a chance you can get a female, but the odds are like 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 that you'll get a female. I've been breeding Coral Glows for the last 6 years, and every single Coral Glow that I've ever had was always a male. But although I have produced a female banana this year from my banana male maker, so it is possible to produce females from a male maker, but the odds are pretty slim. This guy's looking pretty good. We can take a look at him. So the other thing that's kind of interesting about this one is I think there's kind of a hidden gene in my Coral Glow male that I used to produce this one, and I think this guy has that gene. I'm thinking it was either like Mystic or Phantom or some other kind of like a darker gene. You can see it kind of makes the snake a little bit darker. So I think there's kind of a bonus gene kind of floating around in there, although I haven't really proven exactly what that gene is. The other cool thing about this one is if you look at the very top of his head, he's got a little orange spot right on the top of his head. That is pretty cool. Kind of an interesting little, almost like a head stamp, which is kind of unusual for just a Coral Glow. And the bellies on these are usually pretty clear. Got a really clear belly. It's got one little paradox, just one little spot, like right there. You can see he's got like a paradox. I don't think it's dirt, I think it's just a little spot. Every now and then the Coral Glows will have a black spot here and there. You can see a little bit of freckling coming in on this guy. Not quite as much freckling as I've seen in some of the Coral Glows. I think that hidden gene's kind of reducing the freckling on this one. So that guy is pretty awesome. This guy's name's Peanut. Yeah, Peanut. Alright, so that last snake, Peanut, he was, the label on his tub says C1421, so he's the 14th clutch. I actually had 14 clutches of Ball Python eggs this year, so he was like the youngest one out of all these. He hatched last, and this one was the clutch right before that, so this was from C1321. And this one is a banana. So the banana is, a lot of people say the banana is pretty much exactly the same thing as the Coral Glows, but most people will separate the lines and they won't intermix them. You know, they won't breed like a banana to a Coral Glow. So this one is a banana pinstripe, 100% het clown. And I just probed this guy. He is definitely a male, and he is a male maker. So if, you know, going through and probing these, if I find any females, I'd probably hold the females back, just because I only have 1 female right now. It's just a hatchling, But this guy's looking pretty good. Take a look at that crazy looking snake. Two of my favorite genes, the banana and the pinstripe. The pinstripe's hands down one of my favorites. You can actually see the little scrunched up heads, like the little scrunched up alien heads from the pinstripe on here. And the other thing that's interesting about the pinstripe, you'll notice that the pinstripe takes all the freckling away from the banana, which is kind of an interesting effect. I have one snake in my collection that actually has the pinstripe and the pastel together in the same snake, and the pastel seems like it brings a little bit more freckling back even with the pinstripe. So it's not really, you know, the complete eliminator when you mix it with all the other genes. I weighed this guy. He's coming in at 210 grams. Got a kind of a orange top of a head right there. No really head stamp on this guy. Pretty awesome. Take a look at the belly. The bellies are usually pretty clear on these guys. Super clear. No paradoxing or anything. Very friendly. All my snakes this year are super friendly. I don't think I've really got bit by any of my hatchlings. Maybe one or two when they first hatched out. But I've been picking them up every time I clean the tubs and every time I spot clean, so they're used to being held quite a bit. So there you go. This guy's name is Octane. Alright, so take a look at this beauty. This guy's name is Noodle. Noodle is a lesser triple het. Het for albino, het for pied, and het for clown. I just weighed him. He's coming in at 185 grams. Just a little danger noodle. Pretty cool snake. He actually, the label on his sub says C1221. He was the 12th clutch of the year. So he's the one right before the last two. So that's pretty awesome. Kind of the interesting thing about this guy is I'm pretty sure this is a world's first. No one's ever produced a lesser triple hat like this. And usually the lesser doesn't have a really strong stripe down the top. Well, only with like certain combinations, sometimes the lesser can tend towards really strong striping with the right genes. But this was really unexpected to get such strong striping with just the influence of 3 hets in the background. So this guy is a male. I actually held back 1 male and 2 females from this clutch. Kind of the weird thing is when I produced this, I bred it was actually an albino pied male to a lesser clown female. And you know, the odds as far as the offspring, I should have got half lessers, and come to find out every single offspring carried the lesser gene, which was extremely unlikely to actually see something like that. So the odds are definitely in my favor when I actually produce this. So if we actually take a look at them, you can see the belly. Usually the bellies of the lessers are really clear too. No paradoxes or anything. This guy's got some really interesting patterns from the influence of that triple het on the lesser. Really super bright too. I think the het clown is really influencing the brightness, really increasing the brightness of all the colors in this one. Look at how big he is. Getting pretty chunky already. Can't believe how big he is. A little bit head shy. Not mean at all. Hasn't tried to bite me yet, which is good. Yeah, so he's doing really good. This guy's name is Noodle. Alright, so take a look at this crazy snake. This guy's name is Pasta. He is a male pastel possible het desert ghost. I just weighed him. He's coming in at 200 grams. Doing great on frozen thawed mice and rats. And this guy is probably one of the brightest pastels that I've ever seen. He is super bright. I don't know why he's so bright. It's kind of interesting. I have certain versions of pastel here in my collection, and some of them are really bright, and some of them are not quite as bright as this guy. It's interesting too, he's got a really dark background, which is kind of surprising. On the bright, it almost makes him look like a tiger or something. Really super awesome. Almost looks like he has inchy in him because it's really reduced in the back. Although the pastel can have a really jumbled up pattern. It almost looks like inchy right here. But normally you can see on their head If they have enchy, usually the stripe that comes down the side of the face is kind of a little bit wider in the back. And I don't think that either one of the parents had enchy in it. So this guy was from clutch 11, the 11th clutch of the year, which is pretty awesome. Would make a really good pet, would make a good breeder. Pretty awesome ball python. That is pasta. Alright, so this one looks almost exactly the same as the last one, except it's from a different clutch. This is actually from my 10th clutch. This guy, I weighed him, he's coming in at 198 grams. This guy's name is Donut. And Donut, I just probed him. I'm actually probing him as I go. It's another male. I can't believe how many males I have this time. It's crazy. It's like, where's all the females? So this one is a pastel. This time it's 100% het desert ghost. We know for sure from the breeding that this guy carries one copy of the desert ghost gene, which is pretty interesting. Usually your pastels have kind of green eyes, if you can see his eyes. If you mix it with other genes like spider, you actually really bring out the green eyes in the bumblebees with the pastel and the spider. This guy's got really reduced pattern. A lot of times with the pastels you'll have the reduced pattern. This one almost looks like it could have some enchy in it. And if you actually look at the head, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking maybe this one does have some enchy in it, because the male that this came from, to get 100% het desert ghost, I only have one male, and that one definitely has enchy in it. If you look at the kind of the stripe on the, you know, the eye stripe that goes across the head on this one, it almost looks like it flares a little bit in the back to where it maybe, I don't know, it's really, it's hard to see on that one if it's actually an enchy stripe on the head, but it really looks, it's hard to tell with the pastel, because the pastels can be banded like that too. So I'm saying possibly enchy on this one. I'm not completely sold. A lot of times the enchy will actually bring in some of the brightness too. This one doesn't seem quite as bright as the last one. The last one seemed a little bit brighter. And I don't think this one's going into shed. Although that last one, it just shed. It just came out of a shed. This one's looking pretty good. Look at the belly on this. The bellies are kind of speckled, kind of on these pastels a little bit. Almost like a normal looking belly that you see on them. Got some pretty interesting colors and patterns on the sides. Pretty awesome snake. No defects. I haven't had any genetic defects in any of my hatchlings ever since the beginning. The only, once in a while I'll have some genetic defects like in the egg that'll actually kill the hatchling, which is really unfortunate. But as far as the hatchlings that make it out of the egg, I haven't really seen any defects like, kinks in the spine or head wobbling or anything like that. So these guys are doing fantastic. That's an awesome snake. Alright, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the last snake. This is number 6. So this one is coming in at 183 grams. I just weighed it and I probed it, and it's another male. I can't believe I got so many males. Unbelievable. A lot of people are wanting females, but the males are pretty cool too. But I'd say in most cases, people are looking to breed them. This one's name is Elastica. Cool name. Thank you for whoever picked that out and put it in the jar. I just randomly pull names out. And Elastica is a normal 100% het clown, which is pretty interesting. If you actually look at all the het clowns that I produced this year, even the normals, they're a lot brighter than you'd see in just a regular normal ball python or even the other genes. So even the the pinstripes, you add the addition of the het clown and the pinstripes just really pop. It's pretty amazing what the influence of het clown, just one copy of the clown, can do to a ball python. So you can see this one's definitely brighter than your normal ball python. Some people say in the het clowns you'll actually have more white in the patterns. You can see a little bit more white coming up into the alien heads. Some people say that that's a marker. Some people have said in the het clowns, I've never really seen this before, but a lot of people say that there's actually a stripe from the vent to the tip of the tail. Look, there is no stripe or any pattern at all at the very bottom of the tail, unless they're talking about this on the top. I've actually saw it in a forum. They said it was on the bottom. Every single het clown they produced had a stripe past the vent to the end of the tail on the bottom, but I haven't seen that in any of my het clown stuff. So sometimes you can see slight markers for het clown, and this one we know for sure it was het clown because of the pairing. I actually bred my banana inchy clown to a bunch of stuff this year to produce a whole bunch of these. This actually came from clutch number 13. So I only had 14 clutches this year, so this is one of the last ones, one of the youngest ones here in my collection. Alright, so that's it. If I sell some more snakes, I'll post my last few over on Morphmarket. Maybe I'll do a video of those too. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.